How the Soviet MiG-25 Foxbat made fun of Israel in 1971. The story begins in the summer of 1971, when Israel violated the ceasefire and launched surveillance flights throughout and deep within Egyptian airspace in order to find and map new surface-to-air missile sites and track the construction of new Egyptian Air Force air bases. The Soviet Union sent aircraft and troops to Cairo West Air Base in response to this provocation in an effort to humiliate Israel. The Soviet Union deployed troops to Egypt along with a unique fuel called T-6, technicians, and every piece of machinery needed to operate their MiG-25 Foxbats. Once all officers and engineers were prepared, activities near Israeli-occupied territories were authorized. On October 10, 1971, a pair of Soviet MiG-25 Foxbats took off from underground hardened aircraft shelters and flew over the waters of the Mediterranean Sea to 79,000 feet before heading east toward Israel. After approaching northern Israel, they turned southwest and flew practically the whole Israel-Sinai coastline from Acre to the Suez Canal at Mach 2.5. All Israeli air bases were alerted by this Foxbat voyage, but they didn't have the ability to intercept such fast, high-flying planes. They repeated their October flight on November 6, 1971. However, this time they flew over Lake Bardavil's eastern end and proceeded toward Ras Al Sadr, an Egyptian town on the Gulf of Suez. Every month from December 1971 until March 1972, two MiG-25 Foxbat missions embarrassed Israeli air defenses. On paper, only the made-in-America Israeli F-4 Phantoms with their AIM-7 Sparrow radar-guided missiles could fight the high-flying intruders, but even then, the ground-controlled interception would need flawless vectoring. Practically, no Israeli F-4 Phantom ever locked on the Soviet MiG-25. Their many attempts resulted in humiliation. Egyptian and Soviet radar station crews watched unsuccessful Israeli interception attempts with delight. Then came the most dramatic raid of the sequence. On May 16, 1972, MiG-25s photographed Israeli positions from the eastern side of the Suez Canal to Sharm el-Sheikh, an Egyptian city on the Sinai Peninsula's southern tip. Israel dispatched 4 F-4s as the MiGs crossed its airspace at 10:30 a.m. The Phantoms had a clear shot at one of the Foxbats, but their ground control intercept failed on them. The first Phantom neared, but Soviet jets zipped above it before its crew could fire. At 10:35 a.m., another F-4E approached and fired one AIM-7E, but the missile engine burned out before reaching its target. At the end of its flight, this AIM-7 Sparrow failed to explode and fell undamaged on the western side of the Suez Canal. After Egypt recovered it, President Anwar Sadat delivered it to the Russians. By April 1972, Moscow had realized that the unit had completed its duties in Egypt. While personnel returned to the USSR, MiG-25 Foxbats were kept in Cairo West's underground hangars.